Hi, my name is Jack Emery. I go to this university and I made this video. It may not look like much, but that little video is going to be a part of a giant collective remake of the film Shrek 2. The project is headed by the YouTube channel 3GI, and their first collective fan remake was a huge success, featuring tons of talented and well-known YouTube creators. I am not a YouTube creator, or an animator, or a friend of the channel. So why was I asked to contribute to the project? Patreon.
Patrons. Patreon.
Patreon.
Patreon. The Patreons.
Patreon.com.
Patreon.
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 It's like having a salary.
The artist shan't make money.
Really expensive for us.
And resource intensive.
This isn't actually super cheap to make.
And it's working. It's not like perfect yet, but it's really working.
Jack, it's good to have you. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Let's rock.
Patreon is a platform for independent creators to earn a monthly income directly from their fans. Formed in 2013 by independent musician Jack Conte and his buddy Sam Yam, they sought to create a system that rethought remuneration for independent creators. Moving away from earnings generated by downloads, views, and advertisements, creators could have a collective of patrons that support their art. Patreon intentionally recalls the patronage system of the Renaissance, when composers, painters, and sculptors were sponsored by wealthy families or powerful institutions. And Patreon itself is insistent that their platform is positioned to be the leader of a second Renaissance, a flourishing of art and creativity that isn't strangled by the intricacies of creating in the internet age. They want independent creators to hold their destinies in their hands, and for their careers as artists to be as sustainable and respectable as any traditional career. In theory, creators will only need to please their audience, and thus their content will improve. Hopefully this will also translate to audience members becoming patrons and more money finding its way into the creators' pockets, sustaining a livable income. For myself, a patron, I get more than just the pride of contributing to the creation of my favorite art. Patreon is set up to give me a more direct line of communication with the creators I subscribe to, and I might receive special rewards for my patronage. This is how I was invited to contribute to the Shrek 2 remake. It was a patron benefit. It's why I get access to special videos and private Discord servers, and if I gave more, I might be able to get my name in the credits of videos or some free merch. This model is pretty neat and pretty effective, and Patreon as a company has taken off since 2013. Today, they facilitate the patronage of over 200,000 creators, podcasters, animators, artists, educators, video creators, journalists, and more. Patreon also mediates the transactions between creators and the over 6 million patrons who support them. Today, they've put over $2 billion in the hands of creators. During this time, Patreon has been doing alright for themselves as well. They're a company of just 200 employees working in 6 global offices. As of September 2020, they've raised $255 million and are valued at over $1 billion. As of April 2021, they've raised another $155 million from private investors and are valued at $4 billion. Why? Because they're growing, they're a useful platform, and more people are using it. Why else? Because they profit when people use the platform. Patreon takes a cut of each monthly donation, somewhere between 5 and 12%. So as long as creators are attracting audiences, Patreon is perfectly positioned to skim a little off in the middle. That's where Patreon fits into the platform economy. The platform economy is related to the gig economy. This economic shift taking place where workers aren't getting or are unable to get traditional jobs, permanent, salaried with benefits, and are instead getting impermanent and flexible jobs. Think Uber, DoorDash, Amazon Delivery, TaskRabbit, Airbnb, and more. These workers might work many jobs and are typically described as contractors, entrepreneurs, freelancers, or simply self-employed. This is certainly the case for Patreon and their over 200,000 independent artists. Patreon doesn't employ 200,000 people. They don't pay them or offer them benefits. In fact, they make money off of the work of the creators themselves. That's why I like platform economy over gig economy. I think it's important to call attention to the gravitational mass at the center of this economic trend. These tech companies, these platforms, are the beneficiaries of a new generation of freelancers. They're middlemen. They offer a space where independent workers can offer labor to various consumers, and the platforms profit without accountability for the security of the work. Now, I don't hate these platforms. I use them. I see the value in offering irregular work. I especially don't hate Patreon. Patreon correctly recognizes that their sector has served advertisers first, not creators, damaging the relationship between creators and fans. Platforms have become a vehicle for profit, and overall, it's a broken system. However, if Patreon wants to be any different, if they want to usher in a second renaissance and make independent creator a respectable job, they'll have to rethink their platform as one that only exists because of the creators that use it, and make functional changes to respect that truth.